Hi everybody, Dr. Roney here. Today's topic, we're going to talk about high intensity training, but how to do it with low impact on your body, your joints, your muscles, etc. So let me explain the concept briefly. High intensity training is basically getting your heart rate above the intense range. So how to do that, if you're wondering how to do that, there's a formula. So it's the number 220 minus your age. So if we use just easy numbers, I'll use the number 40. So say I'm 40 years old, which I'm not. I wish I was, but I'm not. 220 minus 40 gives you the number 180. Then what you want to do is take that number and multiply it by 0.75 or 75% of that number, right? So if we did that math, it's 135. So for me to keep my heart rate above what I want to do, I should say, is keep my heart rate above the number 135. So if you have a Fitbit or you're doing your, just checking your pulse or what have you, that's the intense range. So that's high intensity. It means your heart rate is above a certain level using that formula. So again, 220 minus your age, multiply that number by 0.75, okay? So using, again, the age of 40 as an example, you get 180, times it by 0.75, you come up with the number 135. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. So the benefits, let's talk about the benefits real quick. The benefits of high intensity training versus low or moderate intense, right? So say walking, for example, or weightlifting, that's low intensity for the most part. You're not gonna get your heart rate up too high doing those. They're not bad. It's just, we're not gonna achieve the high intensity biochemical, physiological benefits. So let me talk about those real quick. So if I get my heart rate up, say for 7 to 10 minutes into that intense range when I'm working out, it's very good for increasing growth hormone, increasing dopamine and serotonin, which are your feel-good neurotransmitters. It's very good for lowering inflammation. It's very good for keeping your insulin receptor site awake or sensitized, which means your blood sugar will stay low. So, and that's just a few of them. It blocks pain receptors, it increases endorphins. So all these feel-good things are going to be a benefit of high intensity training. Now, if we do it too long, and I'll use the example of the CrossFitters, right? If you're familiar with that term, or you can Google it. CrossFit is a lot of high intensity work using weights, using different exercise routines for 45, 50 minutes, an hour. Eventually, in my opinion, that's going to be a detriment to the human body, right? We don't want to do that over a long period of time. It creates inflammation instead of lowers it. It will drain your adrenal glands, your cortisol, and things like that. It will cause damage to the tissues, etc. Now, in moderation, it's fine. But the point I'm making is when you're looking at the physiological or biochemical benefits of high intensity training, the studies show 7 to 10 minutes turns all those good pathways on without the detriment of doing 30, 40 minutes, right? So again, 30, 40 minutes can be too long, too much. 7 to 10 minutes, really good. So why, in my opinion, let's do nothing but the good and leave the bad out, right? So 7 to 10 minutes, high intensity exercise is physiological or biochemically very good for the human body. And again, compared to low intense or moderate intense exercise like walking or weightlifting, those things don't have the same biochemical or physiological impact, although they're still very good, right? So I'll give you a quick example of what I do, and then I'll tell you some low impact ways to do it. I'll go to the gym and then I'll do sprints. I'll get on the treadmill, I'll sprint for a minute, I'll jog for 30 seconds. Sprint for a minute, jog for 30 seconds. You can do that on a bike, you can do that in the swimming pool, you can do that on an elliptical machine, a Stairmaster, these are all things that are low impact. You can walk up a steep hill as opposed to sprints or jumping or things like that, right? The lower impact things, but they'll still be able to if you do them properly, where you're pushing it for a minute and then you're relaxing for 30 seconds, pushing it. What will happen is when you push it, your heart rate's gonna go up into that intense range, right? When you're relaxing, it's gonna come down a little bit, but as long as we're staying above your intense range, even in the relaxed phase, you're still achieving high intensity exercise, right? So it's like short burst of high intense exercise. Hopefully that makes sense. So again, the benefit of doing that is all those physiological and biochemical benefits that I talked about, okay? So when I go to the gym, I'll do that. I'll sprint, jog, 10 minutes. My heart rate's up to the point where if I was trying to talk to somebody, it'd be a little bit difficult. So hey, hang on, let me catch my breath. That's high intensity. So if you didn't even want to do the pulse and the mathematical formula, you could simply just get your heart rate up to a point where you're huffing and puffing a little bit. That's the easiest way I would say to gauge it, okay? If you're just starting it, it's okay to do a minute or 2 minutes or 3 and build up. That's fine, right? You can certainly do that. And I would encourage that as well. Start slow and work your way up. So then when I'm done that, I'll go do my warm-ups, upper body, lower body warm-up, and then I will do some resistance training, whether it's lightweight or jump training or things like that. That's what I do personally. But again, that's lower or moderate intense exercise, but it still has a very good impact on my body, right? But it doesn't achieve the increase in growth hormone, the increase in dopamine, serotonin, the lowering of inflammation. It doesn't help my receptor sites, etc. So the high intensity has such a profound impact on your health overall. We recommend it highly, but again, start slow and work your way up. The lower impact ways to do it, I mentioned some. The swimming pool, right? You can do a workout in the swimming pool. They have like paddles now where you can, push water, add some resistance, run in place, do things like that. And because the water is going to create low gravity and low impact, it's going to be great for your body. Walking up a hill, right? Getting on a Stairmaster or an elliptical machine are really, really good ways to do it too. So those are just a handful of low impact ways to still get your heart rate in that high intensity range. Okay, so if you have any questions, as always, you can call, you can contact me. I'll help you work through the process, but start slow and work your way up to that 7 to 10 minute time frame. Okay, hopefully that helped you, gang.